Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. Today we're going to talk about what to do if you experience the file already in use error message when you try compacting your database, or sometimes even when you just try opening it, you might get that error message. You might also get a different one, slightly different, that says you attempted to open a database that's already opened by another user, and you're the only user. How does that happen? We'll talk about both of these issues today. Today's question comes from Kieran in Miami, Florida, one of my platinum members. I try to compact my database at least once a week, like you told me in your compacting video. But it seems most of the time when I do, I get an error message saying the database is already in use. I do have a few other people on my network, but I always make sure that everyone's logged out. In fact, no one else is here in the office and all the computers are off, but I still get the error message. What gives? Well, Kieran, this could be caused by a number of different things. We're going to walk through all of them in just a minute. Before we get started, this is a beginner video, but if you don't know about compacting and repairing your database, this is very important. Make sure you go watch this video first. It's something you should do at least once a month. I prefer once a week or even daily if you've got a database that's used a lot. So make sure you go watch this video first if you don't know about compacting and repairing. All right, so this is a problem that might pop up just randomly when you try to compact and repair your database. Now, if your database is open, especially if forms have been loaded that have VBA code behind them, you're more likely to see this problem. All right, if you have the database open, you go to compact and repair, 9 times out of 10, it's going to run just fine. But if you do any design work, I've noticed this happens more of the times when I do design work, especially VBA work. If you move some things around, right, you go into the VBA editor, you make some changes in here, right? Doesn't have to be major changes, just any changes at all, right? Save it. And then we're going to save this and close it. And now let's see. And is it going to do it? Sometimes it does it. Sometimes it doesn't. This is kind of random. It's taking its time. Okay, in that case, it worked. You might have to do this 2 or 3 times. And boom, I had to do it like 5 or 6 times off camera. But I got it once in a while, it does this. Now, usually it's just kind of random. And honestly, just if you hit OK and you shut everything down and you open it back up again, I made a second copy when I was playing around here. Ignore that one. You open it up again, right? And then you go ahead and run your compact and repair. And there, see, and then it ran fine. Normally that happens, right? Just shut it down. Make sure every copy of Access is closed. Make sure that no one else is using the database, okay? And then try it again. And most of the time it'll work, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get that persistent issue where no matter what you do, it won't compact. Now, I kind of cheated. For those of you who know what a split database is, I split the database and I linked to the backend tables, right? I put them in a different database, okay? And I opened up the second database and I went in here and started designing a table, right? Make some changes in here, and then you compact this guy. And oh, see, it made a liar out of me again. Sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you can't. All right, let's see. Sometimes it'll, because the two of them aren't, oh, there it goes. See, the two of them aren't always connected, but if you're doing something in the backend database, so that's definitely one major reason why this happens, especially if you got a split database and the table database is in use. All right, but even if you've got just a single database without splitting it into front and back ends, I've seen this happen too. I've had those persistent databases that I couldn't get to compact. So I made this list of what to check. All right, first up, make sure everyone is out of the database, including you. Make sure all copies of Access are closed on your computer. If you're on a server, make sure no one else is connected to it. Okay, make sure they're like logged completely out of Windows. If someone is connected to the database, you will find this laccdb file, right? ACCDB is Access Database. L is a lock file. All right, you can see there's 2 of them right there. There's one right there for the copy. That's the back end that I made. There's another one right here. All right, that file indicates that someone's got that database open. Usually when you close the database, that file goes away. So if I come over here and close the database, save changes, no. That file, see, it went away. If I close the front end that I've got, usually it goes away. Now, it doesn't always go away. Sometimes, like for example, if someone's computer locks up or if Access freezes, that file is left there. So you can manually delete that if you want to. Again, make sure no one else is in the database before you do that, but it's safe to delete that file, the laccdb file. And of course, we're backing up everything nightly, right? I got to throw this in every now and then. Make sure you're running nightly backups of your data. If not, go watch this video. I'll explain how to do it. All right, so you've checked. You've made sure everyone is out of the database, including you. Also, check to make sure there's no tasks running. I should probably add that to the list, too. All right, we'll sneak that one in there, too. All right, msaccess.exe. Run your task manager, your Windows task manager. Right? Just go to your start button in Windows and type in task manager and run this guy and make sure that msaccess.exe isn't running, because sometimes Access can lock up and it doesn't look like it's running. It's not going to show up on your Windows taskbar, but there's still a process running in the background. Right? If that's the case, just right click on it, end task, and kill it. I'm not going to do that, but you can check that too, make sure. All right. All right, so we've gotten that far. We're sure that no other copies of Access are running. Next, let's try opening the database with the Shift key bypass. What does that do? Well, the Shift key bypass is anything in the startup in the database, right? Your startup form or an auto exec macro. All you do is you click on the database, then hold down the Shift key, and then double click to run it. And that will open up the database. It'll usually open up behind the window that you're on. It's back there, see it? But it bypasses the startup. Notice my main menu didn't run. Once that happens, now you can try again compacting the database, and then it should compact and reload. All right, sometimes something that's in your startup might be causing the problem. You want to load the database up fresh and clean with no code loading, okay? If that doesn't work, try compacting a copy of the database file. Sometimes the database file itself can be corrupted. All right, so just like I did here, take the actual database file, copy and paste it, and then try opening up that guy and compacting that guy. Okay, that might fix the problem too. If that still doesn't work, go in through Access the application itself. Don't use your startup shortcut that you might have on your desktop. All right, you want to actually run Access. So go to your Start button, find Access. All right, there it is right there. Run it off your Start menu or however else you load it. All right, if you don't see it on here, go to Open. Go locate it, right? Browse. Mine's on my desktop. I made a DB folder, right? Here it is right here. Now, click on it once, and again, hold down the Shift key to bypass the startup, and then click Open. That will open the database, again, bypassing startup. Now, again, try compact and repair. Okay? If that still doesn't work, give Windows a restart. Shut everything down, right? Start menu, restart Windows. Sometimes there's processes that run in the background that have nothing to do with Access that can keep your database from compacting. I've seen it happen, folks. I've seen weird things happen. You believe? I've seen computers that wouldn't boot because of a bad keyboard, like the plug-in keyboard. The weirdest things, right? Computers are... But restart Windows if your database still won't compact. If that still doesn't work, do an Office update. All right, sometimes there's bugs in Access. They get released. You know how it is when they fix one problem, they introduce another one. All right, so do an Office update. Check the bug reports that are out there. There's a couple different great sites that I go to check for Office bug reports. Mike Wolf's site's one of them, no longer set. I'll put a link to his site down below. He does a lot of great bug alerts almost as soon as they happen. Access Forever is another one. I check both of these. Anytime I got a weird problem, something comes up, I check these sites. These guys are on the ball. I get my Access news from these guys and Mike. And last but not least, if none of those things work, try creating a new blank database and import all of the objects from the old one into the new one. Sometimes the Access ACCDB file can get corrupted, like the shell, the container of the file can get corrupted, but all the stuff in the database is still okay. And I mentioned this one last because this does involve a little more work. But essentially, you're going to create a blank new database, okay? DB2, whatever you want to call it, okay? And then you're going to import all of the objects from your existing database. All right, external data, new data source, from database, Access. Again, find your database file, browse to it. All right, there it is right there. Hit open, hit OK. You're going to select all the tables. You're going to select all the queries, the forms, the reports, the macros, the modules, and you're going to hit OK. And you're going to hope they all come in just fine. And if this still doesn't work, okay, if you're still running into problems, try importing I know this is a lot of work, but try importing the objects one at a time, because you might have a single form or a single report that's corrupted. Import them one at a time and then compact after each step, and you will eventually figure out which one of those objects is bad. Yeah, I had to do that once a couple of years ago, and it took me an hour or two, but I finally figured out I had a corrupted report, and it was causing the database not to compact. All right, hold up. I know I said that was the last item, but I finished the whole video, and I thought of two other things to mention, so I had to go back. I'm editing. First, turn off file sharing services. Now, I've said in several videos in the past, don't use file sharing services like Google Sync, Dropbox, OneDrive, those kinds of things. Don't run your database on those kinds of file folder sharing systems, right? Because they can corrupt your database. In fact, I have a whole other video that explains why you do not want to do this. But you may be using something like Google Backup and Sync that goes with Google Drive to back up your files. I use it on my system. I love it. It keeps copies of all my files, including my database files, saved off-site in case, the house burns down, gets taken by a hurricane, whatever, which we're having one today, but it's not going to hit us. Anyways, if you're running your Access database out of a folder that is being synced with Google Sync or Dropbox or any of those things, even if no one else is connected to it, you might be running into an issue where that syncing software has your database file open because it's trying to sync it up to the server. Okay, and if that's the case, Access might be saying, hey, I can't access this file to compact it. Okay, so turn off those file sharing services before you try to compact your database. I haven't used anything but Google in a long time, but basically it puts a little icon down here. You right click on it, you go up to the settings, and you just go to pause syncing. That's it. And then when it's paused, then it will stop trying to access your Access database, no pun intended, and you'll be able to compact it. Probably. I'm not a big fan of those file sharing services for Access database, except to make sure that you're backing up your database. Now, my main database, I do not have that folder where it can be synced by Google. All right. However, I do have a nightly event that I use that copies all of those files to another folder that is backed up offsite. So there's a lot to it. But for my average everyday little databases that I use, because I've got little tiny databases for everything, those are on my desktop and in folders on my desktop, and that is backed up by Google. So I just have to know if I go to compact and repair it, that could be the problem. Okay. And second, you can also try running down my troubleshooter on my website. I'll put a link to it down below, because there's other weird things. Sometimes there's just weird stuff comes up. All right, and that's what I put my troubleshooting checklist together for, all the weird stuff. And sometimes you're not even getting an error message. It's just stuff doesn't work. All right, here's the checklist. The video here you can watch. Just scroll down. Just go down these things in order, right? Compact and repair. There's compact and repair, right? Don't use online storage. Run on a local drive. Check for known bugs. There's the sites I mentioned earlier. Oh, here's the actual Access blog from the Microsoft Access team. Check them too. All right, make sure you're in a trusted location. Just run down this list. All right, so there we go. I think I'm done now. All right, so what do you do if you run through all this stuff and your database still won't compact? Well, you're just SOL. No, I'm just kidding. There are some third-party software utilities out there that I've seen advertised that claim to be able to repair your database. I have not tried any of them, so I can't speak for them either way. I do know there are also companies that offer repair services, and here are 3 companies that I've referred people to in the past, and I've heard good things about their services. But again, I have not personally used any of these in the past myself, and no, I'm not receiving any compensation for referring business. I'm just putting it out there that if you have a corrupt database that you can't get to fix any other way, you could try one of these 3 guys. But that's pretty much everything that I know about fixing a corrupt database that you can't get to compact and repair, or even if it won't open in the first place. If you've got any other tips or tricks or things that I might have missed, feel free to post them down below in the comments section. But that's going to do it for today's Tech Help video. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little Show More down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward. But I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my Tech Help page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the Tech Help page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: Silver, Gold, Platinum, and Diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut Tech Help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my Tech Help videos, plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any Tech Help questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for Tech Help questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a Diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.